He wanted to be an actor, right? And he'd done certain roles and things like that, but he always wanted to be famous.
Take everything with a grain of salt.
Right, he can have more fame than he thought he'd ever have. I don't know if this is the way to get it, but like I said, they say any publicity is good publicity. But I got some jewels to drop on you about this, man. Let's get into some of this straight game. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy Delray Richardson, Platinum Artist, Platinum Songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor, click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. And like I always say, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I'm gonna get right into this straight game, ladies and gentlemen. This is explosive and exclusive. Like I said, many people have heard about or seen the pictures of the escorts that the government had put out in regards to some of the escorts that were hired by Diddy, allegedly, right? I can confirm that Edmond did participate in the free calls with Diddy and Cassie by his own admission. I'm going to show you in something exclusive that he said about that situation, about one of the situations that he talked about Cassie looking sad and a bunch of other things. But more importantly, I'm gonna do it like this. Look, so I met Edmond some years ago, Venice Beach, California. Me and my friend Alfred Seymour, they were performing down. They had Venice Beach on lock on Saturday and Sunday. They had a comedy show that they were doing Venice Beach.
Jump ahead.
And stuff like that for movies and video. He was doing a little bit of like Caribbean music because he had a heavy Caribbean accent, acting and stuff like that. You can see nice looking young man, and like I said, so he had got a lot of work in the town. So like I said once again, but more importantly, recently it came to my attention after looking at the Art of Dialogues X.com page that I was looking at the people that they were naming as people that were escorts for Diddy, and I was like, oh shit. I'm like, yo, they got Edmond. What? And I hadn't seen him in a long time, so I didn't know what he was up to. You know what I mean? I knew he had moved and done a few videos, and like I say, a few things, man, that were huge. Like I said, one of those things, if you will, was the California Love video with Tupac. As you see in the lower left hand picture, that's him and Tupac right there. Yeah. You see in the top right hand, that's him and Chris Tucker, and you see in the lower right hand, that's him and Dr. Dre. So he was in the California Love video. He had done other videos for like In Vogue, a whole bunch of other people. You see him right there with Jackie Chan, if you will. So like I said, Edmond had done a lot of work in town, and just putting it down, modeling, a whole bunch of stuff. You may have seen him he did an In Vogue, like I said, In Vogue video. He was the main guy in the video, like the male attraction to the women or whatever in that video. There's too many things to name, but that's how he started off in the game. He was doing his thing. And so I'm looking the other day and I see all of a sudden, I'm like, yo, what? You know what I mean? Hollywood has this strange thing about, when you come out here, if you ain't firmly planted on the ground, you can end up doing a lot of things. Like I said,
okay, let's go ahead.
San Fernando Valley is like one of
Yes, we know.
So but check this out. So when you like I said, the California Love video is one of the highlights. I just look at that and I think about Dr. Dre, Diddy, the Death Row thing and all of that, right? But then, like I said, here's the picture that the feds had put up, the government had put up, with him on it. Like I said, once again, you can see he's a little bit older now from what he looked like back in the day, if you will, right? You know what I mean? So, like I said, but more importantly, let's get into this. Check this out. This was one of the business cards that Edmond had gave me. You're not gonna see this anywhere else. This is exclusive right here, right? This is one of the business cards that he gave me. He would always give me different business cards, and like we would see each other on, like I say, video shoot sets and stuff like that. And like he was always doing something like major, playing a major role, because he was like the sex symbol guy in the video or whatever they were doing at that particular time. Like I said, if you look deep and harder, you'll see him, this guy, in a lot of videos.
Okay.
Over 25 years old. At least over 20 years old. I would say over 25 years old, to be exact, right? And so, like I said, I had to go through my cards, and I was like, damn, man, Edmond important. You know what I mean? Because he's from the island, he's from the Caribbean, and like I said, he had a real heavy accent. I think that was one of the reasons why he really didn't go as far as he should have in the like acting and things like that, because his accent was so heavy. So you would get like parts that were due to somebody like that. He also worked on the East Siders movie with Snoop and them. I think he did some extra work on that and a few other things. And so check this out. I want you to really peep this game right here. This is from his book, and I want you to. He's talking about Diddy and Cassie.
Okay, interesting.
Listen,
interesting.
He said, "Entered the room," and you got to pick this up. The Journey of an Island Jewel. This is crazy, right? They say, "I entered the room. She was so sexy." He's talking about Cassie, ladies and gentlemen. She was so sexy, so beautiful, but there was a look of sadness in her eyes. I did all I could do to bring her a moment of passion and sexual fulfillment, right? So he's basically talking about having sex with Cassie. And he said she and I would be playing around, and then he would enter the room wearing this black thing over his face. This is not the first time somebody said that. The guy Daniel Phillips said that Diddy would have a black something over his face, right? So wearing this black thing over his face and mouth, and instructing me what to do and how to do it to her, right? Once again, this is a playbook of Diddy. We heard it from The Punisher. We heard it from the other male escort, Daniel Phillips, right?
And then we're going to hear it from Clayton Howard as well. Clayton Howard pretty much tells the exact same story. But let's continue.
And instructing me what to do to her. I love giving it to her doggy style. Her ass was so pretty. Their drug of choice was cocaine. Unlike what Cassie was saying about cocaine, Edmond is saying that their drug of choice when he was there was cocaine. Their drug of choice was cocaine. and their drink of choice was GHB, sipped in a cup. So he's saying they were taking cocaine and doing GHB sipped in a cup. And as we were
this
fucking,
is crazy.
he would come
What
closer,
is this shit?
butt ass naked, with that black scarf around his face, with his cock hard as a rock, meaning his penis erect hard as a rock.
And sleep all the way down, all the way.
I'm sorry for the ads. I'm on my movie review channel. I'm uploading today's stream on that, so y'all just gotta bear with me. We gotta just go through the ads, so just deal with it. Okay.
On this occasion, because I had drunk the pre-workout drink, my performance was not as pristine as usual, right? Patrick, that's the nickname for Puffy. Patrick, right? And Cynthia is the nickname for Cassie. You see the P and the C. If you watched the live yesterday, you understand what I'm talking about. Patrick was instructing me to do this and to do that to Cynthia, and I was not totally able to. The C4 had me acting gibberish. C4 is a pre-workout, like before you're about to go to the gym, it kind of give you some pump, like energy, right? So he said Patrick, who is Puffy, got upset and started yelling and cussing, right? So Puffy got upset and started yelling and cussing. What's wrong with you? And he did not pay me my full amount, right?
Right.
So he's like, yo, it's kind of crazy because it really takes you in the room when you're reading. He said, what's wrong with you? He said he didn't pay me my full amount, which was $1,500. Instead, he threw me a couple of hundreds. He threw a couple of hundreds at me. He was a black music billionaire and was giving me peanuts. I was so disappointed. I had bills and needed the money badly. He was paying his personal trainer $1 million a year to no avail because he did not look any fitter. Edmond said he was paying his trainer $1 million a year, but to no avail because he didn't look no fitter, right? I decided not to see them anymore and signed up with another dance company, right? So he signed up how that worked, dance company. I was told by the new company that a couple had requested me. Come to find out, it was them. So now, Edmond said that he didn't want to work with them no more, right? Signed up with a new dance company, right? And was told by the new company that a couple had requested him. And they went looking for him. They went searching for him, come to find out. He said, come to find out, it was them.
Wow.
No, thank you. I later learned that the personal trainer of Patrick, the personal trainer of Patrick that had tried to help me get in shape ran off with Patrick's wife. Wow. So the personal trainer, listen, this is mind-blowing. This is exclusive right here. So the personal trainer, right? Edmond is talking about the dude
the white dude. This is Cassie's soon-to-be husband, right? Okay, yeah, that's crazy.
See, listen, this is exclusive. He said no. He said when they came looking for him, he was like, no, thank you, right? He said he later learned that the personal trainer of Patrick, right, of Puffy, that had tried to help him get in shape, ran off with Patrick's wife and married her. See, that's something I didn't know. I didn't know the dude Fine was Puffy's trainer. They didn't say that. They were talking about like it was a personal trainer that was hired for Cassie. But Edmond is saying that the dude Fine, her husband now, right, ran off with Cassie. Amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing.
Wow.
Right? So what he say? No, thank you. I later learned that the personal trainer of Patrick that had tried to help him get in shape ran off with Patrick's wife. See, Edmond, I think, was under the impression that Cassie was Diddy's wife.
Well, to be fair, Puffy did complete a New York marathon, which I believe is he ran a marathon a few years, almost a decade ago. How many was it? 26 miles. Did he run or runs? There we go. Runs marathon. How many miles was that? He ran a marathon. That's not no slouch shit. 4 hours, 14 minutes. How long was it though? How long? The length of it? Yeah, this is when he had the mohawk. That's right, because I remember he had some issues with his knee. He had tendonitis in one of his knees. Man, he had 8 weeks to train. Shed 15 pounds. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I knew he had tendonitis in his right knee. That much I did know. Started in Staten Island and winds through all of 5 New York City boroughs. That's a good distance. That ain't no punk shit, man. Say what you want. That was no punk shit. That wasn't no punk ass marathon. That was not no punk ass marathon. I want to know how far it was. Yeah, 26.2 miles. 26.2 miles. Shut up. Ain't none of us ran 26 miles in a day. I don't want to hear that shit. That ain't no punk shit. That's 26 miles. Shoot.
Based on what she had been telling all of the escorts, you know, my husband, right? And marry her. I am so happy for Cynthia. She deserves some happiness. They were not the only Hollywood personalities I have encounters with. Another one was Lenny Woods. Ooh, yo, look. This has gotten deep. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, you know now. This has gotten deep. Like I said before, my man Edmond, you know, like I said, I hadn't seen him in years, but let me show you something else. Check this out. Not only that, but peep this. That's the California love right there, right? But this is another one. This is another one right here. So this is another one. You're not gonna see this. This is exclusive right here too. This is one of the other business cards that he would always give me, like, yo, here I got my headshots again, you know, blah, blah, blah. Now you gotta understand what I'm telling you about. All of this right here, what I'm telling you about, this was way before we understood any of all of what's going on right now with this Cassie Diddy thing. You know, because when you out, you know, earlier on, you know, before I had some success in the music game, right? You know, you would go out and try to, you know, network club, blah, blah, blah. I told you guys about the time when we was leaving the Century Club and Tupac went to Peanuts and had the two girls in the Rolls Royce. If you look on my channel, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? But like I said, once again, yeah, this is heavy, man. You like I said, I just showed you a part, and a lot of people don't even know about this book. So it's about to get detrimental. It's about, so now I see kind of what the feds might be going after, and I'm almost certain, right, that Edmond gonna testify. I don't know for sure.
This has to be old. How old is this? A month ago. So this is a month ago. So everybody that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody is, they didn't call him out to testify. So we have two former escorts suing at the same time. So Edmond Laurent and Clayton Howard. But we'll get to Edmond first. So okay, so he's suing not only Diddy but a couple Jane and John Does, right, for assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent sexual battery, as well as civil conspiracy and aiding and abetting. Wow. In one encounter, Laurent alleges Diddy, an anonymous woman, drug after purposefully poking holes in a condom. The move exposed the plaintiff to a sexually transmitted infection. Oh no. Oh no. He's seeking $10 million as a consequence of defendant's actions. Plaintiff has suffered long-term medical conditions, including but not limited to stomach cancer. No. Lawrence attorney Rodney Diggs. This lawsuit is not just about seeking justice for one man. It's about holding powerful individuals accountable when they use their influence to exploit, degrade, and destroy lives behind closed doors. Now, let me just say this to all my detractors. Yeah, in the beginning, I said this case was very, very weak, extremely weak. Okay, and then what did I say? The moment Capricorn got on the stand, I love how y'all want to prove I'm wrong so bad, but you dumb fucks forget the moments when I tell you this is where it's changed for me. So yes, initially in the beginning, this was a weak case. And then I said, I was like 70-30, he'll beat the case. And then after Capricorn's testimony, I said, what? I said, this is a problem. I said, this is not good. And ever since after Capricorn's testimony, I was like, I don't know. He ain't gonna walk away scot-free. He's not gonna walk away scot-free. And then the rest of the testimony, it's like, okay, where do we find him guilty on? To me, I thought they proved enough. It wasn't a slam dunk, but to me, I thought they proved enough. But hey, whatever. And then also, you guys forget the original guy that brought this suit to life. He quit. Damien, whatever his name was, he was the initial guy that brought the lawsuit against Diddy and somebody else. He ended up quitting. He quit a week later. Yeah, Eric Adams. He brought cases against Eric Adams and Diddy at the same time. The next week he quit. Now, I'm no legal expert, but I can almost guarantee the case that he was building against Diddy looked nothing like this case that was presented here. That's why I'm saying there's going to be another RICO. They're sitting on a shitload of evidence they didn't introduce in this case, which is why it was so weak to begin with. Don't worry, in a year from now, I'll be here to sit here and be waiting to say I told y'all so. But let's continue. For years, Mr. Laurent suffered in silence, his career, body, and spirit irreparably damaged by the trauma he endured. Today, the silence ends. No amount of fame, fortune, or intimidation should shield anyone from being held responsible for their actions. So let's get to the variety. Can we get to there? Is it gonna let us do it? "32-page complaint filed Tuesday night." This was from when? Yeah, this was last night. Tonight. This shit just got filed tonight. Tonight, y'all. 32-page complaint filed Tuesday night in LA Superior Court. And I told you there's 3 states that potentially could bring him back for another trial: Los Angeles, New York, and/or Florida. The states are waiting to get their piece of Diddy. But okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's see here. The Dominican native who moonlighted as an exotic dancer under the name Islander is seeking $10 million. Okay. Chronicles a series of alleged incidents that took place in the late 2000s at a swath of luxury hotels in LA, including the Intercontinental. That sounds familiar, right? The SLS in Beverly Hills, and the Mondrian in West Hollywood. According to the lawsuit, Laurent was drugged and assaulted by Combs and a mystery woman. Who is the mystery woman? It couldn't be Cassie. I'm going to assume it was KK. I'm going to assume it was either KK or Capricorn, who purposefully punctured a condom with her nails and exposed the plaintiff to a sexually transmitted infection. The complaint states that he suffered severe health issues, including stomach cancer, as a result of the alleged abuse. He was signed to the modeling and talent agency Latin Connection that booked him on jobs as an extra in films and music videos, as well as performing at bachelorette parties as male entertainment. Okay. The alleged abuse perpetrated by Combs began when Laurent's agency booked him for a job at a bachelorette party at an LA hotel. He arrived to find a man and a woman wearing masks who wanted a private dance. Seeing nothing wrong with the request, plaintiff proceeded to perform. After the performance, he was paid and left. The man was Combs. According to the complaint, a few days later, he received another call from the woman, and he returned. After performing his dance for the couple, the woman propositioned Laurent for sexual intercourse. According to the complaint, Combs noted how much pleasure he derived from watching another man F his girl. Laurent agreed, put on a condom, and proceeded to have sex with the woman. He was paid an additional $1,000 for the act. Okay. Following the encounter, the woman continued to contact Laurent, inviting him to return upon arriving for another meeting at the Mondrian. The couple unmasked themselves and asked the plaintiff to apply an excessive amount of baby oil. They offered him a drink, which he tasted and quickly declined, informing them that at the time he did not want to consume alcohol. Jane Doe then offered him cocaine, ecstasy, and GHB, all of which plaintiff declined, reiterating that he did not use drugs. Combs insisted that plaintiff be on the same frequency as they were, demanding that he take at least one shot of alcohol to lighten up. Plaintiff reluctant, but under pressure obliged. Pay these people. Just cut the check. Laurent became extremely woozy and lightheaded. Months went by before he received a call from Jane Doe and was invited to another hotel. During this encounter, he was offered drugs and alcohol, which he declined, but was forced to use an immense amount of baby oil, which he believes was infused with GHB. Now, they never said, the feds said they did test whatever batches they had, and it had nothing in it. Now, maybe they came across another batch that had it in there, but we saw nothing in the testimony that this was the case. Once again, the feds are sitting on a shitload of evidence they did not present during this case, which is why people were saying this is a weak case. Okay? They felt they had enough to get him. While Laurent had sex with the woman, Combs asked him to remove his condom. Plaintiff refused, and Sean Combs and Jane Doe informed him that they had recently been tested, were both clean, and stated that plaintiff was the only partner Jane Doe had. They even went so far as to produce what they claimed to be a valid blood work results as evidence that Jane Doe was STD and STI free. Jane Doe reached down and broke the condom with her fingernails as plaintiff was penetrating her. Sean Combs then came behind plaintiff, leaning in closely and whispering in his ear in a low suggestive tone, "Yeah, F that pussy, pound that pussy." Oh my God. His voice was deliberate and insistent, reinforcing the coercive atmosphere. Plaintiff felt increasingly trapped and uncomfortable, but due to the effects of the drug baby oil and the situation he found himself in, he struggled to fully resist or leave, though he attempted to and had all the intent to, but was hindered by the drugs. Furthermore, Combs also told the woman how to perform oral sex on Laurent. When she did not perform as instructed, he would snatch plaintiff's penis from Jane Doe 1 and mimic the movements he would want to see Jane Doe 1 do. What? Oh, this man is trying to be Steven Spielberg. Oh no. Okay, let's continue. On the final encounter, the couple offered Laurent some orange juice specifically because he did not drink alcohol. Unbeknownst to him, Jane Doe and Sean Combs had spiked the drink with rohypnol and ketamine. When plaintiff regained consciousness, he was lying naked on the bed, slathered in baby oil, and felt immense pressure and pain in his rectum. Ooh. Jane Doe woke up, pulled out a stack of $100 bills, handed plaintiff $500, and abruptly shut the hotel room door. Plaintiff was left feeling violated, confused, and physically unwell. Here's the worst part. Weeks later, anal warts appeared around the rim of Laurent's rectum, the complaint says, and he was diagnosed with condyloma. Laurent began vomiting so frequently that he lost his ability to retain solid food or liquids. As a result, he suffered debilitating health issues that led to gastric surgery and eventually stomach cancer. Shit. Hold up. Condyloma, known as genital warts, refers to raised flesh-colored or white growths caused by the HPV, human papillomavirus. They are primarily transmitted through sexual contact and are considered the most common sexually transmitted infection. Found on the genitals, anus, and surrounding areas, may cause itching, bleeding, or discomfort. Treatments include topical medications, cryotherapy, laser treatment, or surgical removal. Here we go. While generally benign, some HPV types associated with condyloma can increase the risk of certain cancers. This is horrible. If true, this is horrible. My God. Let's continue. Laurent is represented by Rodney Diggs and Tyrone Blackburn. He just got in trouble. He got arrested trying to run over the process server, right? From who sent it out to him? Fat Joe's attorney, Joe Tacopina. This man is got arrested for trying to run over the process server. Okay. All right, so last year, Diggs and Blackburn filed a lawsuit on behalf of Diddy accuser Lil Rodney. He just had an interview with DJ Academics. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. I will tomorrow. Okay. Okay. His lawsuit also lists the mystery woman as a defendant, referring to her as Jane Doe, whose identity is unknown to Laurent. I'm going to assume that's KK, man. I'm going to assume it's KK. It also names an additional 9 Jane and John Does who participated in, facilitated, aided, abetted, conspired, or otherwise contributed to the wrongful acts. Those Jane and John Does who loosely fit the description of an entourage controlled access, security, medical supplies, drinks, oils within private suites, and cleaned up evidence, ignored loud disturbances, and refused to summon help. I'm going to assume half of these people were the ones that testified that have immunity. They had immunity in Diddy's trial. Assistance, security, Roger Bonds, I wouldn't be surprised if it was all, a bunch of them. Okay, let's continue. Okay. The famed rapper Combs facing dozens of civil lawsuits filed by both men and women who say they were sexually assaulted and attacked in incidents that date back to the 1990s. This lawsuit is not just about seeking justice for one man, it's about holding powerful individuals accountable when they use their influence to exploit, degrade, destroy lives behind closed doors. Okay. The suit also lays some blame on the hotels where the alleged incidents happened. Housekeeping observed large quantities of baby oil and drug paraphernalia, yet management ordered immediate cleanup rather than investigation. Security logs show multiple noise complaints and reports of physical altercations, but no incident reports were filed with law enforcement. The lawsuit adds that Laurent also suffers from PTSD, major depressive disorder, panic disorder, and severe gastrointestinal issues that stem directly from his encounters with the couple. As a consequence of defendant's actions, plaintiff has suffered long-term medical conditions, including but not limited to stomach cancer, the suit says. This is sad. This is sad. If true, this is extremely, extremely sad. And once again, ain't nobody but urban people hurting other urban people. Okay? This ain't nothing but urban people hurting other urban people.